Thank you, Rona, and thank you all who are participating in this broadcast today or who will either watch the video or hear the audio later. I've been asked to share from the Snow King and Snow Queen. And earlier today I was meditating with them, and what they would like me to do today is share with you the importance of ice and snow and glaciers as a part of the greater planetary water cycle. And I had to do a little research, so there's a website that I will be reading from. It's the USGS Science for a Changing World website, the water cycle. And I'll read a little bit and then the masters will comment. The water cycle describes how water moves above, on, and through the earth. But in fact, much more water is in storage at any one time than is actually moving through the cycle. By storage, we mean water that is locked up in its present state for a relatively long period of time. Short-term storage might be days or weeks for water in a lake, but it could be thousands of years for deep groundwater storage, or even longer for water at the bottom of an ice cap, such as in Greenland. And in the grand scheme of things, this water is still part of the water cycle. Now it shows the white areas around the world on a map on the site, which depicts glaciers and ice sheets around the world, and this is from National Geographic World. The vast majority, almost 90% of Earth's ice mass is in Antarctica, while the Greenland ice cap contains 10% of the total global ice mass. The Greenland ice cap is an interesting part of the water cycle. The ice cap became so large over time, about 2.5 million cubic kilometers, because more snow fell than melted. Over the millennia, as the snow got deeper, compressed and became ice. The ice cap averages about 5,000 feet, or 1,500 meters, in thickness, but can be as thick as 14,000 feet, or 4,300 meters. The ice is so heavy that the land below it has been pressed down into the shape of a bowl. In many places, glaciers on Greenland reach to the sea, and one estimate is that as much as 517 kilometers of ice calves into the ocean each year. One of Greenland's contributions to the global water cycle. Ice caps influence the weather. Just because water is in an ice cap or glacier and is not moving does not mean that it does not have an effect or a direct effect on other aspects of the water cycle and the weather. Ice is very white, and since white reflects sunlight and thus heat, large ice fields can determine weather patterns. Air temperatures can be higher a mile above ice caps than at the surface. And wind patterns, which affect weather systems, can be dramatic around ice-covered landscapes. Now here are some other facts. Glaciers store 75% of the world's fresh water. 75%. And 10% of all the water on the earth is glacial ice. We know that the entire planet is approximately between 70 and 80% water, and the oceans and the ice, the glaciers, the snow, And of course, we are about the same, 70 to 80%, depending on our age. So again, glacial ice covers about 10% of all land. If all the glaciers melted today, the seas would rise about 230 feet, or 70 meters. During the last ice age, when glaciers covered more land area than today, the sea level was about 400 feet lower than it is today. At that time, glaciers covered almost 1/3 of the land. During the last warm spell, which scientists estimate about 125,000 years ago, the seas were about 18 feet or 5.5 meters higher than they are today. About 3 million years ago, the seas could have been up to 165 feet or 50.3 meters higher than today. The largest surface area of any glacier in the contiguous United States is the Emmons Glacier in Washington. It's about 11 square kilometers or 4.3 square miles. Now, why does the Snow King and Snow Queen, or why do they desire this information released? Because they are integrally involved in helping maintain the balance of life on Earth through the snow, the ice, the glaciers, water in its frozen form. And many of the peoples in the north, let's say in Scandinavia, in Russia, and northern Canada, are all integrally involved in this water cycle, and they have to understand these cycles in order to work with nature to maintain that harmony, that balance that is essential to all life on Earth. When we understand that these glaciers and ice caps and the ice in Antarctica and also in Greenland and in the north affect weather on the Earth, it gives us pause to consider how important this work of the Snow King and the Snow Queen is for our planetary body. Now, they work with the nature cycles, all the natural elements, and the flora and the fauna of these areas. And it's very important to have the animals that do their work in these regions to also help maintain that balance. We know that the great mystic Anastasia lives in Russia in the taiga, in Siberia, another very important area on our planet, with all of the trees to produce the oxygen from those trees, taking in the carbon dioxide, emitting oxygen to maintain that harmonic balance. Now, a while back, we were told that the masters at times create retreats in the etheric plane, and that the Queen of Light's retreat over Bergvik, over the home of Runa and Marita Hagen, is in the form of a crystal snowflake, a very large one at that, very large. And other retreats in the etheric utilize the crystalline nature of light as the angels build the superstructure of these retreats with light. And this is crystalline light to maintain the dome structures, the pyramidal structures, the great halls for learning, for worship, for communion with God. the universities of the Spirit within these retreats, the avenues of light, all of this is composed of crystalline light. And what is very close to this in the physical is ice and snow. Snowflakes having this beautiful sacred geometry. Every snowflake different in its geometric form. Imagine that. All of this ice, all of this snow, all of this crystalline water was formed of snow or frozen water, and every form of that snowflake is different. Amazing sacred geometry. Now, we are sacred geometry. We are composed of light in our higher form. And the Snow King and Queen would like us to meditate on ourselves as individualized crystalline beings of light. And when we do this, and we see ourselves as crystal light, we can actually emanate more light to the planet, more radiance, more love, more virtue. Why? Because crystals have the means through which a great transfer of energy occurs. Lasers focused through crystals can penetrate and cut through steel. So the crystal is important, and the crystal nature of our beings is important for us to understand and utilize in this dynamic of our spiritual work so that we can maximize the light flowing through us. This is why Runa participates in and hosts these weekly Saturday sessions for Europe. Wash Europe in crystal light. And we started with violet, we did rainbow, we've done other colors, but now we use crystal light because we can focus any color through that crystal, and the crystal allows us to accelerate the release of light for the benefit of sentient beings in all of these European nations, to harmonize everything, to bring blessings, to transmute karma, to transmute the darkness that is manifesting through the perversion of true immigration, which has resulted in all manner of peoples coming to different nations who are not always coming for the right purposes. This has been a great burden of late in many of the European nations. Those coming who do not have the greater attainment and the understanding of Christian traditions and the traditions of light, of the mystic aspect of the various religions. And so you have the breaking down of the social order, greater crime. And we have to deal with this. How do we deal with this? By accelerating the light within ourselves and focusing it in these areas with great determination, great love in our hearts. We love the people, yet we do not appreciate some of what is transpiring that has resulted in the crimes and the other problems that we see. So now the great Snow King and Queen are taking us up in consciousness above the earth to view the earth as this beautiful globe of light. And it is truly a sphere of light and not a flat earth as some believe. It is a beautiful, beautiful sphere of light with all the oceans, the blue of the oceans, and the colors of the continents. And as we rise above now the northern areas, over Greenland, Iceland, and moving and circumambulating the globe in the northern part of our globe, we can send forth light rays through the crystal of ourself to bring God consciousness, solar awareness, and a new dawning of spiritual fire into all of these nations and peoples. And the Snow King and Queen are accelerating our ability to both maintain light, focus light, and project light, amplify that light. Now, the clearer and purer we are through our use of the violet light and all of the rays, the more light can be distributed, the more light can be sent forth, flashed forth. And when you build this momentum after doing these calls week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, and for some of you even lifetime after lifetime, then the light that you focus is a great, great blessing and a bestowal unto the peoples. So they are using today our causal bodies to impact life in the northern hemisphere of our Earth, because this broadcast is coming from Scandinavia, and specifically they are sending it forth to deal with the issues that are of concern to the Heart Friends in Sweden and Norway, where we have wonderful light bearers who are doing their work regularly. And they are using your minds and all that you have studied, all that you have discovered through the media, through your own research, and they are kind of melding our minds together as one greater mind to precipitate through this cosmic mindfulness the answers to the dilemmas that are at play today in Scandinavia, in northern Canada, in Russia, in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, in all of these areas of the north, even the northern United States and Alaska. And simultaneously, they are also using our causal bodies to harmonize and balance the water cycle for the purification of the water, some of which has been polluted even by terrible nuclear radiation, Fukushima, and what happened near Kiev, near Russia, in the Ukraine, with that terrible tragedy in the 1980s. And some of that toxic nuclear pollution, even through nuclear subs, Russian subs, etc., that have been had their issues in the North Sea and spewing out that radiation. So they are using our causal bodies because we are offering them to purify, clean, cleanse the toxicity in the waters of the north and in the ice and the atmosphere throughout the entire water cycle. If you feel a tingling in your arms, in your heart chakra area, in your crown, it's because now this acceleration is manifesting, and you can visualize the transmutation of this toxicity, this pollution, especially from the radiation, and see it absolutely gone. Dissolve, transmute, consume. Dissolve, transmute, consume. Dissolve, transmute, consume. And in its place, there is a crystalline release of light as purity. It's like when you see snow coming down from the sky on a sunny day, when the sun peeks through the clouds and you can see the sun shining on the snow, and it's an amazing experience. Now, most of the time you may not see the sun, but visualize the sun shining through the snow coming down as these crystal snowflakes, and you can feel the light energy within those snowflakes purifying, purifying, purifying the atmosphere, then the water, the earth, everything. You know how things smell after a fresh rain where you have that ozone in the atmosphere. Well, you can imagine and even smell through your higher smelling orifice this ozonated atmospheric aroma all around, purifying, cleansing, transmuting. Ozone, O3, 3 atoms of oxygen, which is very intense and yet very cleansing and purifying. So this is the alchemy of what they desired for us to do today. And you can do your own research on the water cycle, read more on this, research the importance of all of the waters, the glaciers, the ice caps, the snow in the north, and call forth the perfect balance of the descent of snow during our winter months so that we have that water available for the crops, all of the plants during the rest of the year, so that our farmers, our ranchers, our gardeners can all have what they require to bring forth the beautiful fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the seeds, the grains, the flowers, the herbs on the earth for our utilization, our consumption, and our life. Now, I was told that, at least in the Stockholm area, there wasn't as much snow this year as normal, although lately you may have been getting some. So Runa could address that after I speak, but you have to have a certain amount of snow during the winter in order for the hydrological cycle, the water cycle, to be optimized for all of the plants and for the water to be stored in the reservoirs so that it can get to where it has to go so you can utilize it in your homes, in your communities, in your schools, your businesses, and have that pure, fresh, clean water. So we're going to take a moment now to visualize all of the waters around the world being absolutely cleaned and pure, undefiled, crystalline clear. Like going to a beach and having, instead of muddy water, having that aqua teal, beautiful clear water, so you can see all the fishes and the other natural beings in the sea and in the oceans or the waters. And breathe now crystalline breath light into what you see and visualize for its purification, for its sanctification, for its cleansing. Now the Snow King and Queen love the song that we have to Jesus, "Wash me clean, O Lord, this night," in the 40th section, I believe, of our prayers. And you may choose, Runa, to play that later and use that song and those words to continue this action of purification and cleansing. Because it's not just our soul we're cleansing, it's really the soul of the planet and the waters of the earth. So that's the message for today. Would you like to say anything in response?
Okay, we are here in Bergvik today, David, Marita and I. And we have had lots of snow this year, both in Norway and Sweden, and around the house in Bergvik. It's a lot more snow than you have seen. Our family has been on the roof and shoveling snow off the roof, and we did some of that for the second time this winter today. So
Wow.
we have lots of snow, and many people just love the snow. So yeah, that's one comment.
Wonderful. Well, maybe Stockholm didn't get as much as Bergvik got.
Well, Marita probably knows something about that.
Okay.
Yes, this Stockholm have had, and especially last week it was chaos.
Okay. Yeah. Chaos because too much.
Yeah, yeah,
Too much snow. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe the chaos won't be there, but thank you so much. And I love snow. We've had about 4 feet of snow, I think, and where I live over the whole winter, and it's going to be very helpful for the ranchers and the farmers.
Yes,
And of course the ski bums love it.
they do.
And finally, I'd just like to say congratulations to Norway in the Olympics for breaking the record on medals. And I think it was amazing to watch part of the Olympics, you know, the little that I was able to watch, and see how phenomenal the Norwegian skiers were. They're just amazing. So, and I guess the United States got a few more medals than Sweden, but Sweden did pretty well. But Norway really took the cake, right, this year?
Yes.
Yes, they took the cake, and one of the ladies, she is now, her name is Marit Bjørgen. She is now the athlete who has won most medal and gold medal in the Winter Olympics ever.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, and she's a very nice person. She is kind of the captain of the Norwegian skiing team for the ladies, and she's an Aquarian age leader, and everybody loves her.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to stop.